This weekend, Saturday Night Live skewered the president for not yet accomplishing anything, and this was right after he lost the Olympics. Take a look.
On my first day in office, I said I'd close Guantanamo Bay. Is it closed yet? No. I said we'd be out of Iraq. Are we? Not the last time I checked. I said I'd make improvements in the war in Afghanistan. Is it better? No, I think it's actually worse.
There you go, Saturday Night Live, capturing the zeitgeist of an administration that's been filled with disappointment recently. And we're joined now by Jay Newton-Small of Time Magazine. Jay, thanks for being here.
David. Hi.
Let's start with this, the aftermath of the Chicago failure. Obviously, the president put a lot on the line. They had to think they were going to get it done. Do you get the sense that this is going to be something that we remember for some time, or is it just, a bad week?
Well, look, I mean, it's like you've got a little, pot of political capital. And, when you're first elected, that pot is absolutely brimming full. And then over time, you have to eke out a little bit here and there. And you have to choose carefully what you really spend your political capital on. This was something that he spent it unwisely on because he did not get any return for the investment. And there's only a finite amount of political capital that he has, and you can't get it back.
The administration, I think, would argue that a lot of what they've had to spend political capital on this year thus far, they didn't really choose. It was not of their choosing. They had to spend a ton of political capital on the stimulus or the auto bailouts or the continuation of the bank bailouts. So do you sense this Olympics moment, does that represent for you a sort of larger thing in the administration that you're seeing them time and again choosing things that they should not be spending political capital on, or you think this looked like a one-off kind of scenario?
I think this looked like a one-off kind of scenario. This was the kind of thing where, how many times are we going to be arguing for the Olympics? Granted,
Out of Chicago. Not again.
Not for Chicago, not again. And, we do have Los Angeles up for 2020, but I think they might think, beforehand before sending him over to argue for Los Angeles in 2020. But it's a one-off thing. This is one time.
And if they get health care, people aren't going to remember it. That's going to be a big win. Let's talk about that. We're going to see a CBO score early this week, a vote in the Finance Committee, most likely tomorrow. What is that going to do to the debate at this point? Actually,
I'm hearing that you're not going to see a vote in the Finance Committee tomorrow, and that the CBO scores are delayed. It's a very complicated process. There's a lot of amendments, and then we probably won't be seeing a CBO score until later in the week, which means a markup probably won't actually happen until Thursday, maybe Friday.
So another week gets laced on this. Is there a chance of sticker shock again if we see some numbers that really surprise people?
Well, I think that's why they're being so careful about this, is they don't want to go ahead and pass a bill and then be shocked by some CBO score that says, oh, what, by the way, we're not actually saving any money. I think they're going to be absolutely careful to say we're passing a bill that's going to save money, that's going to be fully paid for, and then we can proceed.
What do you make of this talk we saw from the sort of liberal wing of the Democratic Party last week as Chuck Schumer and Jay Rockefeller fought for the public option to no avail inside the Finance Committee, but all the advocates around there saying, oh, no, this vote is hugely important because it shows that the public option is still alive when it was considered dead. We read in the LA Times this morning that the White House has this whole strategy behind the scenes of getting every Democrat on board with the public option. Do you see that the public option is any more alive than it was right now, and if so, why?
No, honestly, this whole sort of finagling behind the scenes about the public option, I know Schumer really, really wants public option. I know Jay Rockefeller really, really wants public option, but really, really wanting it does not resurrect it.
Also, we have to find what that is. It's not the robust public option that the liberals have been arguing for the whole time.
Harry Reid said there's a public option, and there's a public option. And we're going to figure out those options.
But at the same time, if you really have all these people pushing for public option, when you get a triggered public option, it looks kind of like a win, right? So there's a little bit of spin going on here too, I think.
And does the president have a role now in making clear what he wants regarding the public option? He's made clear what he wants on the costs. We still don't really have definitive word from the White House as this has got to be in or it doesn't have to be in.
No, look, he has never used the word veto when it comes to the